Leon Trotsky once said, "You may not be interested in war, but the war is interested in you." In India today, a silent war rages, one that doesn't announce itself with a roar of tanks or the noise of drones. It strikes quietly through whispers of love, promises of care, and the seduction of escape. Its targets are not soldiers or borders, but actually Hindu women. The recent revelation of rupees 500 crores or $60 million conversion racket, orchestrated through a transnational network involving foreign countries, their handlers, and domestic operatives, it is not just a crime. It's an act of civilizational sabotage. The worst part is that isn't an isolated occurrence. It's orchestrated. It certainly cannot be about faith itself. It's clearly about power, control, and the conquest, played out through wounds, rapes, marriages, and deceit. So let's call it what it is. Grooming Jihad 2.0, the demographic battlefield itself. That's what it is. Welcome to the Drishtikon Show, where we go beyond the noise, pierce through the propaganda, and expose the phenomena and actions that others are too afraid to touch or approach. This is not just about politics, you see, it's about rediscovering the truth. So today we want to show you how rupees 500 crore or $60 million from Islamic countries were used to trap Hindu women into conversion rackets across India. This wasn't charity, but a deliberate hybrid war to destabilize the Indian society, alter the demographics, and break families. We explain who funded it, why they did it, and what India must urgently do to stop it. Meet Changur Baba or Jamaluddin, a small time trader in Lucknow who reinvented himself as a Peer Baba. Under the garb of spiritual guidance, he became a hunter of Hindu minds and bodies, targeting women, families, and communities with the cold precision of a general waging war. And his targets? Poor Hindu families, vulnerable girls, and fractured relationships. And his bait that he used was love and blessings and financial support and promise of escape. And who were his backers? An international network of Islamic countries funneling crores of rupees through NGOs, madrasas, and the Hawala channels. And what did he build? Well, he had a luxury empire of marble clad mansions, complete with private power stations and CCTV covered prayer rooms, funded by the price tagging and the sale of Hindu daughters themselves. The most chilling case was of a Hindu businessman from Mumbai, Naveen Rohra, his wife Neetu, and their daughter. That family was converted and renamed as Jamaluddin and Nasreen. They didn't just convert, they moved in with Changur Baba, handed over their luxury vehicles, and became ambassadors of the ideology that had devoured them. This is how Hindus become weapons against Hindus. Once converted, they validate the predator's worldview, provide logistical support, and help lure more prey. Their story is not just of religious conversion. It's about the psychological capture, social betrayal, and mass scale weaponization. The racket was not just ideological, you see, it was economic. There was a conversion rate card that was found 15 to 16 lakhs for a Brahmin or a Sikh or a Kshatriya girl, and 10 to 12 lakhs for OBCs, 8 to 10 lakhs for lower castes, and then there were bonus payments. Upon marriage, conversion, childbirth, women were priced like livestock. Their wombs were monetized for the potential to produce the next generation of converts and maybe even terrorists. The fingerprints of foreign actors were all over this operation. Based on Hawala trails, the NGO funding patterns, and Enforcement Directorate disclosures, here are some of the key culprits. First of all, Pakistan. The ISI has always used religious networks to wage hybrid war. Do you remember Europe and UK's grooming gangs? They were predominantly Pakistani Muslim gangs. No one seems to have drilled down, but someone should investigate how the grooming jihad is the second weapon of choice for ISI. The flagship, of course, is terrorism. So conversions work as ideological infantry. working where bombs fail. That is what Pakistan's ISI has been trying to do, not just in India, but across the world, specifically in Europe and UK. And then there is United Arab Emirates, the UAE. Zakat and Dawa funds are being used under the cover of education and social services. Money is routed to conversion agents and front mosques in India. And Saudi Arabia, a country that has been a historical supporter of Wahhabi ideological expansion, it also factors in this horrific racket. Charity organizations like the International Islamic Relief, which has often been flagged globally, they have been used extensively for routing money to the likes of Changur Baba. And Qatar, where can it go? Funding via Qatar Charity, known for conversion operations, strong digital campaign influence via platforms promoting Islamic culture. And finally, Turkey. Turkey is the new kid on the block in the Islamist terror market and wants increasing presence in South Asia. Although today it is a minor funder, but strong ideological alignment with pan-Islamism is still there, and that suggests that this may actually change. So why do they fund these conversions? Well, first of all, demographic engineering to create the future vote banks and change India's electoral landscape from within. There's an ideological conquest aim at hand, driven by the theological mandates to spread Islam, reinforced by oil wealth, and a civilizational revenge of sorts, a slow, calculated pushback against India's resurgence as a spiritual and cultural civilization. And finally, the strategic destabilization. The more divided India is by religion, caste, and gender, the easier it is to control geopolitically. But how do the Indian women actually get trapped? Well, first of all, it is love jihad grooming. Muslim men pose as Hindu men on social media and college campuses. There are documented instances like that of Lucknow's Gunjan Gupta, who was lured by an associate named Abu Ansari, posing as Amit, and later converted and renamed as Alina Ansari. Build romantic relationships, record private moments, and then use them for blackmail. We saw that in Kerala files, didn't we? Emotional exploitation. Women from fractured or poor families are promised love, stability, and financial security. Then there is material lures, cash incentives, scholarships, cell phones, gadgets are offered, but only if they convert. And then the physical threats, acid attack threats, and brutal beatings for women who resist post-marriage conversion or even advances by Muslim men. We have seen so many instances of these. Digital radicalization. Islamist propaganda on social media very subtly demonizes the Hindu traditions and play up the Islamic idea. Women begin doubting their own faith and become soft targets. The civilizational cost to all this is huge. There are families who break down, parents lose their daughters, women lose identity. The trust within the society collapses, the communities fragment. There is a demographic shift. Conversions today mean voting blocks tomorrow. Remember that. Minor changes compound into electoral shifts in 5 to 10 years. So communal parties like Samajwadi, Congress, and AMIM promote these conversions.